I love the police. Like, Sting and the police. I don't mean I love police. I mean I'm in love with policing. Oh, Christ. Like, let's just start. Let's just start the new year off like that. Because we're gonna, it's 21st Century Rocker Mom podcast. It's episode 50. It is wrapping up the year that was 2021. It's over. I want to talk about the best, the worst, the silliest, the scariest, the grossest, the ugliest. I want to get to the Golden Throat Punch Award, and I want to talk with you about it. I'm not going to talk to you about it right this minute, but I want to talk to you about all the things that happened in 2021. And since you were the person who was around me the most, for better or for worse, you poor son of a bitch.
I was there.
Rob McCallum, ladies and gentlemen. My better half, my partner in crime and in life. Back on the show to count down with me this year's, like, just everything. The best, like I say, the best, the worst, the good, the bad, the ugly, the hideous. All the things that were 2021. There were so many crazy things that happened, and many people, like, I find, like, everyone was, like, doing goodbye 2021 on their Facebook. This year can kiss my ass. Fuck this. You know, everyone was like, you know, there's like a lot of negativity out there, but there was so many good things that happened in 2021. So I can't discount any of that either. We had a super nice New Year's.
You mean like this New Year's or like coming into 2021?
Like we had a nice like a New Year's
Currently.
Eve. We had a nice New Year's Eve.
Like that just kind of passed, not like a year ago.
No, like current New Year's Eve.
Okay, I wasn't sure how retrospective you're going.
I was
here.
like, you know, I was able to stay up till New Year's, like till midnight this year.
What? It's an accomplishment these days, folks, when you can stay up to midnight
without falling asleep or like nodding off once. Like,
yeah.
Into your
and it
tits.
wasn't a struggle. There wasn't a fight for it. It was surprising. I think it's the first time since we've been together that we've stayed up until midnight. We've woken up after midnight going, oh, babe,
Happy New Year's, babe.
Happy New Year's.
Yeah, we done. That's
Happy
exactly.
New Year's.
That's exactly what we've been doing.
And then Scarlett was born.
And a baby was born. No, but last night I was like, let's record the podcast. But then, you know, as a good friend of mine said on Facebook, there seems to be a shortage of everything in the world except for fucking fireworks. They were going off like fucking crazy last night. So I was like, we can't record. Like, everything was going to get picked up. And it's like the kids couldn't sleep because they'd hear like a snap, crackle, pop. It was like Rice Krispies is
like
exploding.
the Kellogg's factory outside.
And then there was like, there were ambulances on our street. There was something went on. I hope everybody's okay. But so I'd like to see the back of that in 2021. I want to see the back of fireworks. Get off my lawn.
Back of noise. Like I'm just done with noise.
Yeah.
You know? And we can define noise
yeah.
many ways, I think, from 2021.
Yeah. There's been lots of noise in 2021. Like there's been lots of noise, especially like in the keeping yourself super healthy, like, you know, community. Everybody's been really focusing on health. I know I have been focusing on health because this year, like this month for me, I turned 39 and that's a little bit closer to 40. And I've been doing this kind of like
29.
No, 39.
Come on.
I lied when I met you. I'm just kidding. No, I'm serious.
The latex allergy?
I lied about the latex allergy, okay? Don't hold it against me. Well, I mean, I hope you hold it against me.
Tightly.
But I mean, don't hold the latex allergy thing against me. Sometimes the girls just got to make up a lie. Do you like swimming in your clothes?
So you're turning 29 this year?
Neither do I. So I'm turning 39 this year, and it's so much closer to 40. So I've been doing things like to improve my health, like drink extra water, which is a huge, huge, huge problem for me because I fucking hate water. I hate it. I'm going to just admit it.
Water's good, man.
I know, you love it.
Water's good.
I think it tastes like tepid ass nothing.
Yeah, but I didn't get into it until I lived in the desert. Then it just became that routine, that muscle memory, where it's just like water in hand, like as an accessory, or just drink.
Yeah, because then water out because you're sweating so much.
It's just dry. It's not even like you're sweating because when you live in the desert, you don't really sweat because it just evaporates before it becomes sweat.
Sure, and I suppose to a certain degree you acclimate when you live in certain climates.
Well, that's what my mentor Cody Lundin tells me anyways.
Oh, sure, it is. That's actually, thank you. Awesome. That's my mentor, actually.
Uh-huh.
Thanks very much. That was one of the best things this year was seriously.
Cody Lundin?
No, not Cody Lundin was one of the best things this year. If you don't know who Cody Lundin is, I mean, look him up. But obviously, he runs an Aboriginal.
Reminds me of somebody. Like if two people, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
He runs like an Aboriginal people's school for study and survivalism in the forest. He's a naturalist. He's a survivalist. And he's a barefooter like myself, even in like minus like 60-degree weather. The only thing he'll have on is a pair of like woolen socks sometimes, because he knows that most generations of people, and especially Aboriginal people, especially to where like different climates are, have acclimated through generations their bodies to the temperatures and the way that things are out in the wild so they can survive. He's trying to do this within one generation. So in the last 20 years, because I first heard about this guy in like 1999, he was just on a cover of this hiking magazine. I put it up on my Instagram like a few weeks ago, my stories. And he's like standing there on a rock and he's like squatting. He looks like he's going to the bathroom. He's got these braids. He's a white gentleman. I'm not sure if
very
he is
Viking-like though.
He is very Viking-like. I'm not sure if he is indigenous at all. If he has any one drop of blood at all. I'm not sure, but he really knows about like Aboriginal medicine and like teachings and healings, and he really knows how to live off the land. And so this year, getting our son into like super survival stuff has been really cool.
Yeah, he's turned into I don't even know. He's just like all gung-ho about being outside and like foraging and living and surviving, and like how do I make nature work with me, like as some sort of like magical spell. It's pretty cool that he has an interest in self-reliance like that.
It is cool, and he wants to know how to like build fires. Like, how do you build a fire? How would you build a fire to cook something, or how would you build a fire for heat?
Although, while we were on our family walk the other day, you happened to throw out to him, if you had to survive in this setting, in the city, what would you do to survive?
I was literally trying to like quiz him, and I was like, I thought he was going to be like, I'd get wood, because he's been watching these survival shows.
I'd collect some leaves, maybe get a flint, and try to get a spark going.
Because he got that Les Stroud survive book. He got a survival pack. We got him all kinds of things for Christmas that were survival. Like he got a tent. He got all kinds of things.
But what was his response to how would you survive in the suburbs if something happened? I thought he'd be like,
I'd just go. He's like, I'd go home and find my house. I'm like, but like, what if you couldn't find like our house? Like, what would you do? How would you survive in the suburbs? His answer was rob a grocery store immediately.
There's so many interesting things about that response. It's not like just go into a grocery store and try to find food. He wants to rob it.
He's just trying to rob it. I was like, so immediately, if you were just lost, you just turned into a life of crime?
He's on the run. And then he'd, I guess, resort back to the wilderness where no one would find him. He'd squirrel away like one of the Lost Boys or something.
I'll be in the woods if you need me.
Yeah,
like, it was just kind of like one of those. I'm like,
just emerges out of the woods to get groceries as needed.
You're just like with dirt all over his face.
Criminal activity,
just like
evidently.
stealing stuff from the grocery store in an N95 mask. Injecting his own insulin in the woods. He's got dreams, man. He's got plans. He's got big plans. No one's going to fucking interrupt them. So there's been more hikes and obviously more, for me, chopping wood, which is something more like fitness. So building
Did you explain how
mass.
you're chopping wood more and why you're able to chop wood more?
I got a really big axe because I don't use antlers in all of my decorating because I am a vegan. We do use Batman in most of our decorating. Boy,
true.
What a guy, that Rob.
Well, you got an axe for Christmas. Now, folks, let me talk about the nature of love and affection in one important word: trust.
When a man buys a woman an axe.
Do you truly love and trust your partner? If so, you will gift them a very sharp object for a special occasion, without fear of falling asleep at night around said person. This isn't Enter Sandman where I go to sleep with one eye open. I trust this woman with this giant, sharp instrument that's clearly capable of dicing me up into many small pieces.
Say your prayers! I'm just kidding.
Fortunately, she hasn't turned it on me yet,
I turned it on some wood.
But I tell you, she is a wood murderer at this point.
Yeah, I was like, come outside today with me while I chop. And I just wanted to show everybody how I can chop. Put your safety glasses on. Get outside, family.
It's the excitement in your face, though. Do you want to see me chop some wood?
Do you want to see me chop some wood?
Here, come on out.
I'm like, carry this.
So I brought out some wood, two-handed. The old basket carry, if you will.
Big ass bundle of wood.
And we have a large tree stump that you procured from some local forest, in which you put the logs on, and then you...
Yeah, because you don't want to like whack them down on a metal floor. That's one way.
Or cement.
Or
that would be
floor,
very
or your
bad.
garage floor. No matter what you got going on, you want to put them on another stump or another, like where you're going to stick the axe in. It's not going to chip the axe. You're not going to hurt your axe. You're going to bother the blade or anything like that, because you're going to eventually mess up your tools. You're not going to be able to split your wood, and it's going to suck. So like that has obviously been my main.
We don't want to split any wood if we don't have to. I never try to split my wood at all.
That's been my main bitch for exercising for 2021. Like chopping wood. Since chopping wood, gardening, outdoor stuff has been my main thing. Running, hiking, anything I can do. My asthma's not making me crazy. But the main goal is to be as fit as I can by 40. So I've been doing a lot of juice fasts and things like that. And juice fasts are always really kind of like horrifying, because you feel good when you're doing them. I love them. I've been doing them for years. You're starting to get into juicing a little bit more, because I'll buy like different juices. I'll order them from the grocery store and they come.
It's that weird pain pleasure thing that you put your body through, where you feel the withdrawal from your regular.
But you're not really deprived from anything.
No, but it's that your body's not used to it. It's like, what's going on here? You kind of instinctively want to reach for this and that. Whatever it is,
yeah,
no matter how healthy you're eating, you're kind of used to that. Your body is used to the same thing at the same time in the same way. So when you change that, it's just like the growing pains, comfort
weird,
zone stuff.
Right? Yeah, totally.
It's
and
good.
like when it's beets and carrots, going to the bathroom is scary. I think I'm bleeding all the time. I'm just like beets and carrots coming through both tunnels. Beets and carrots. Anything red is both horrifying.
Tunnels. One-way streets.
I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I'd say to him, like, and then I was like, oh, beets, carrots, juicing.
Yeah.
They dye everything. And like you think so you're dying, like you're hemorrhaging or something. So getting healthy has been good for 2021 and then continuing into 2022 and staying that way, hopefully, because I feel way better with the way I've definitely like changed my eating plan. If you don't know, I mean, I've been vegan for I don't know how long now. And you are changing your
We're making the plunge to plant-based lifestyle. Now, admittedly, I have a handful of taquitos left in the freezer.
That you don't want to throw in the garbage.
I will not waste money if I don't have to. I'm a huge believer in making use of stuff.
Oh.
And once those go, certainly vegetarian.
Yeah, you don't really
and then
eat
I'll
that
flex on plant-based stuff as much as possible.
Dairy, that you don't need much
coffee
dairy.
Cream.
Sometimes coffee cream.
You know, that's the coffee cream and the cheese that's going to be
the hard stuff.
I love a good slice of Swiss.
See, and I found so many like nice vegan alternatives that I'm fine. Right?
I'm fine with trying the alternatives. I've had everything that I've eaten. I've had a lot in my life. It's okay to try something new.
Exactly. I feel like I've had so many steaks that I probably couldn't have one more. I'd probably have another baby.
You've already had the best steak that you're always going to have, right?
Yeah, it made me pregnant.
Is the next thing, whether it's steak, pizza, or chicken wings, really going to be better? Or are you just chasing that nostalgia of that time that you had the thing that was so
wings.
good?
Yeah, exactly. Because the last time I had a steak that was that good, I had a baby.
I'd rather chase the new.
I don't have any more children because
no more
steak.
No more steaks, no more babies.
Oh my God.
No more twice baked potatoes.
The things that were good this year that were shows resumed for a little while. Pop culture. Shows resumed for like people weren't just doing live things on their Instagrams and on their TikToks and on the channels and things like that. Actual shows got to resume for quite a bit.
Yes.
And some festivals got to go on and some tours got to go on. I mean, one that I really wanted to see was, but obviously they didn't come anywhere near here and I couldn't go anywhere near there. I wanted to see Jenny Lewis open obviously for Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so cool that at 44 years old, 45 years old now, that she's opening for Harry Styles and he's like the biggest shit out there. Everybody and their mother and their brother and their brother's sister and everybody loves Harry Styles. He was a big hit this year for everyone in every reason, not only just for his music, but for his style and his attitude. And he just seems like a lovely person. And Jenny Lewis put out a new song in 2021. I think she recorded more in 2020, but let it out in 2021, called Puppy in a Truck. And I enjoyed that. And she seemed that she enjoyed the tour more than Harry Styles did. So it just looked like a really fun show to go to.
It seemed in the past year that bands had a tendency to put out one or two songs as concerts got underway to help kind of feel like, here's the new
song
Green Day or Weezer or Frank Turner or whatever was going on. There'd always be like one or two tracks that were new because full albums hadn't been done. People were kind of waiting to see if the concerts could happen again.
There were a lot of EPs this year.
The concerts that happened were typically for album cycles that were 2 years before. So I think Green Day actually released 3 songs that were brand new this past year, one from the soundtrack and 2 singles.
I mean, Green Day then ended up doing Hella Mega Tour this year.
Yeah, and you know what? You talk about wanting to see Jenny Lewis on the Harry Styles tour. I didn't want to see the Green Day Hella Mega Tour with Weezer to begin with. And
no, I
wasn't itching anymore after the delay era because I didn't really like their album Father of Motherfuckers? Yeah. I just didn't like it that much.
It didn't sit with me super well. Like, it wasn't my favorite
I wasn't inspired by it. And when they wrote it, I remember they said something like, oh, you're not supposed to like it. You know, it's okay to, you know, feel those different kinds of emotions, like of displeasure with music. And it's just like, okay, I guess.
Is this like an artsy thing, or did you write this for people to hate it, like, intentionally?
Yeah, I mean, and I understand, like, Metallica had done, you know, the thing where you're supposed to, like, get out of the Metallica machine with Saint Anger.
Get out of the mindset,
Like, with Saint Anger, they kind of had that garage sound. And it's just like,
it was grungy.
I guess it's an experimental approach on Metallica getting together in a garage, but
they didn't.
If I want to hear Metallica, I want to hear Metallica.
I want to hear actual Metallica.
If I want to hear Green Day, I want to hear, you know, poppy punk,
like
tight, uplifting, fast-paced stuff.
Fun Green Day.
Great lyrics, fun, you know. And Father of Motherfuckers was not that. But they're working on a new album, and I think they recorded in the UK for this new one.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, cool. I mean, a lot of good albums came out this year. A new Blue Stones album came out this year. That was excellent.
I have a list.
Biffy Clyro came out this year. A new Biffy album came out this year, and Biffy Clyro's great. He was, like, their band's been produced by Garth Richardson. He worked with Kitty. And we've talked before about how you were so excited to talk to Garth Richardson about Biffy. Mm-hmm. And then their album came out this year, and it's absolutely fucking mind-blowing. It's excellent.
Offspring finally released an album after recording it in bits and pieces over, I think, 5 or 6 years. Now, the diehard Offspring fans like it.
Yes.
I find it very interesting because of how it's been recorded all over the different years.
That's
Some
weird.
is like crazy auto-tune.
Yeah,
and it's
bet.
Quite evident that there is a lot of production stuff going on.
Is it like the bumping in my trunk?
No.
Okay,
This is after that.
After
So,
bumping in my trunk.
yeah.
That one was a tank for me.
Oh, no way. Come on. It's fun.
No. Turn up the beat now.
I want to see it.
No. I'm not a big fan at all. No. Thumbs down for that song
good.
for me.
Nope. Love it. Foo Fighters released an album. Medicine at Midnight, which I didn't love, but it's not as bad as their other one that they released before, Concrete Gold, which was just like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
This seems more back to basics, but it's still like pushing different genres. There's like it's almost like a disco album.
So it is kind of, it reminds me of the Soft Parade album by The Doors. They had all this like spooky Doors stuff out before, and then they just put out this album. I was like, is this disco Doors?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this? No, I didn't appreciate either of those albums at all. I'm not a huge lover of the Foo Fighters. I think they are a talented band. I think they do a lot of good things. I love the whole like Neve soundboard business and the whole Sound City stuff. But on the whole, like, I'm not a huge Foo Fighters fan. I was a big Nirvana fan. Gigantic. Still like Nirvana a lot. But I just... I have certain opinions on the Foo Fighters that I won't go into.
You go into them all the time.
I won't.
McCartney released an album this year.
And I hate to say it, I enjoyed watching Get Back better than listening to Paul McCartney's new album.
Yeah.
It was just
Imagine 3.
It was not my cup of tea. It was not what I expected at all. It was not what I expected at all. But there were some like the good bands that put out like great albums this year. But like I say, mostly, and I've got them all written down here, they're mostly singles. Like I had like Louise Post is, I mean, from Veruca Salt. She is currently putting out new solo stuff. I'm really excited for that because when like even Veruca Salt put out Ghost Notes and like Laughing in the Sugar Bowl and things like that, those are good albums. Obviously not necessarily put out this year, but she's been working her tail off this year to get that out. We Are Pigs has been putting out really amazing. I know you're excited for me to
I like We Are Pigs.
I love We Are Pigs. It's metal, it's new metal, it's trap, it's kind of like everything. It's a collaboration between everything. S.J. Jones is a fantastic producer. She just hears everything.
It's a symphonic tennis match of neurons exploding in my brain.
Yeah, and I think the new metal thing, honestly, is really coming back. I see the new metal music coming back. I see a lot of the mall goth style. And like I say, it reminds me of when I was a kid, like trying to like wear my mom's bell bottoms because she had like them in the 70s. Maybe kids now are going through their parents' drawers. They're finding their mall goth stuff. They're finding their another ugly black slip and maybe some dog collars. That I'm talking about my wardrobe personally. But
one you wear to bed every night.
Yeah, totally. And when the gauntlets. Don't forget the gauntlets. But like, I love We Are Pigs.
Extreme.
Because they are extreme. They're extreme. They make me want to punch a fish in the face. No, they're so extreme. But I think it's coming back. I really think the new metal thing is coming back because I see so much of it now on different social media platforms.
With new metal versus other genres, it was a giant splash late 90s, early 2000s, but it never really had a chance to evolve and mutate. It kind of like stopped and like something else happened almost instantly, whereas most genres kind of evolve and the bands are mainstays and they keep going on, whereas
but
new
now
metal,
I find like a lot of new bands like are getting into them, and I found one particular band on TikTok, and it wasn't We Are Pigs. It's one just like one gentleman. The band's called Head Creeps Official, and he's just doing all his own stuff like from home, recording his own like guitar parts and the drums and vocals. The mix is amazing, the production's amazing, and just finding this artist on TikTok. So I would check them out. If you have a TikTok, check at Head Creeps Official. I think if you follow me on TikTok, you can. I talk about them a lot. They're fast.
Is this like a pick of the week?
This is one of my picks of the week. This is my tick of the week.
Whoa.
Woo! It's not a pick of the week. It's a tick of the week.
It's a pick talk.
But I mean, like, it just reminds me of the old days with like new metal, the tones this gentleman uses with his guitar. He's a very talented guitar player. Obviously practices a lot and is working on his craft. And those are the things, and those are the creators, and those are the people that I like notice and that I see on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever your platform is. Like I say, if you're not creating it and you're not putting it out there, no one's going to see it. So good for you for creating it and putting it out there, because now the world is able to enjoy it and share your gift. You know, you're able to share your gift with everybody else and hopefully get picked up. Keep being, nice and keep being yourself and complimenting other musicians and not shitting all over, someone else's work. And things will work out for you. I think that's a general rule for like maybe life. If something is more like meant to be in your head, maybe don't put it in the comment section. Like maybe leave it not there.
Yeah.
Or worse off, have like an adult conversation in the comment section, but don't do what happened to me. So, it was New Year's Eve last night.
Other things in 2021 that can stay in 2021.
They can just stay there. Are people being misogynistic assholes? I'm done with misogyny. This fucking year is the year for calling it the fuck out. And if someone's going to be a misogynistic
I don't even think it's misogyny
asshole.
though.
It is misogyny.
I don't think it's just that. I think it's just someone being an asshole.
Yeah, but it borders on misogyny because I was the only woman who got called out. So the story is...
It's certainly part of it.
Shit happened on my Facebook and I had like made a post about something. And then someone had piped up and made another post. And then I was like, okay. So I made another post, going back and forth with them. Not rude, not nice, but maybe they didn't like that their post didn't get a lot of likes or any attention and no one said anything back to them. So I was on their Facebook page and they had something about like, I don't know, it's like ivermectin or something funny on there about Joe Rogan. So I laughed at it. And like a million other people laughed at it and they're all male. I was the only female person or the only person there who identified as female who laughed at it. So it's like New Year's Eve, and I get a message on my phone from this person, and they're like losing their shit. They DM me because I don't agree with their opinion on Facebook. So all I did was like put a laughing emoji and be like, this is ridiculous. So I got backed into a corner because I was a woman and like totally harassed through DMs on New Year's Eve by some drunken fuck who, number one, is a local business owner who's fairly well respected, but is a giant goddamn hothead in our fucking community. They're in the art community, I will say that. And they have a little bit of a temper problem. So I don't think it's cool to corner a person about their opinion. I think if you want to have a nice adult professional conversation, if you're a professional business owner, you probably shouldn't be cornering people behind closed doors where they can just screenshot your conversations and send them to all of your patrons and your wife. Like, cause like it's weird.
Social media is kind of the Wild West, right? There's like, there's best practices, things you should do. The whole idea of being like a human and respectful should come into play.
It should.
If you're going to post something in a social forum, whether it's at the library, attack on the board,
sure,
something that you say, you know, that's kind of terror,
rip off the tags, give me a shout,
or it's on Facebook or whatever, and you want to have that conversation because you want to share an idea with people.
Absolutely.
You have to allow that idea to come back within that same form. You can't sequester and attack the people that are responding to the thing that you're putting out there, unless you want your voice to be heard just like in an echo chamber where you only hear what you want to hear because it makes you feel better.
Exactly.
To like pull somebody out of that crowd in that form that you have invited them into.
Yeah, it's like, come on, be a part of the conversation.
And basically isolate them and like come down on them for their thoughts, which they're allowed to have on their own, whether you agree or disagree, is just wrong. It's
another one of those people that's just like...
It just bothers me. And it's not me being protective of you because, of course, I don't like when somebody, you know, tries to put you on a pedestal just to throw rocks at you. I don't like anybody behaving this way. It really bothers me. But you know what?
Here's the good thing. I'm not going to have to go get any shitty tattoos anytime soon. So I'm not that fucking worried. And if you want to, you know, go know where to get a shitty tattoo, just fucking ask me. So keep your fucking opinions to yourself and don't DM me with your bullshit. Because
if you have a problem, state your problem within the same forum and hopefully go for that public discourse where you guys can come to a common ground.
Exactly.
But don't belittle. Don't use someone's gender against them. And don't think because you're a different gender or identity that you have a certain right to treat someone the way that you are treating them. Especially like an
angry alpha person. And this brings me to another thing this year, like angry alpha people getting mad about things that we really have no control over. And so this is what I'm going to call the Golden Throat Punch of the Year award. Only one person gets this. Almost two now. Well, I guess two now get it. Double
winner.
So the one for the harassment definitely gets the Golden Throat Punch award. But I got to tell you about this. This is a saying that for 2021 I heard a lot, and I know you heard a lot too. I
heard you repeat it. For sure. I heard you repeat it.
Oh my fucking God. Now, I want you to raise your hand up in the air.
Right hand, left hand?
Doesn't matter what hand.
Live long and prosper.
And I want you to make a big fist. Big fist. And if you uttered the phrase, this word, at all, any part of this word, this phrase, this sentence in 2021, this word right now, if you said, wake up sheeple, if that was part of your lexicon in 2021 at all, this wake up sheeple fucking bullshit, I want you to take that hand and I want you to punch yourself as hard as you fucking can in the throat, because that deserves a gold-plated fucking throat punch, because that deserves a gold-plated fucking throat punch, because congratulations, you're a fucking idiot. Because you have now mixed your politics with science. Congratulations, you're an asshole. And rant. So that's, if you get a Golden Throat Punch award, if you find yourself saying things like...
But here's the thing, this is cut from the same cloth as what we were just discussing.
What?
the whole, you're going to treat somebody this way. You want to be part of a public forum, but then you're going to criticize people that want to participate in the invitation to be in the forum.
Exactly.
It's like, basically, you should just be talking to not the sheeple that you're attacking. How are you going to get somebody to open their mind up
when you're making fun of them?
When you basically call them out for having a different belief. Like, if your goal is to discuss this thing.
It's like someone saying, hey, asshole, you shouldn't believe in that.
Like, maybe use a little bit more of a charismatic discussion strategy to get people to take the time to listen to you. Otherwise, you're going to only get your own kind of meeple to discuss. And again, it's the echo chamber. You're only going to hear what you want to hear.
It is. You
get out of the echo chamber. 2022, get out of the echo chamber. Quit surrounding yourself with the same people that say the same thing over and over. It's okay to maybe listen to the other side of things.
It's okay to maybe get out of your comfort zone.
Do a little bit of a litmus test. Say, am I just stuck in my own ways? Or maybe science is always right, because it's science and it's not about truth, fact, politics.
No, politics, unfortunately, I mean, our politicians have got our science mixed, together, and they're mixing those things together, and it sucks.
I'm getting fired up.
I know, and it sucks that they've gotten these things, mixed, and they've involved our kids in it. But I don't want to talk about that stuff too much, because it fires everybody up, and it's a little much, and it fires me up to the point where I'm tired of people kind of taking things into their own hands and kind of saying, well, we got this. I'm like, you really don't got this. We really don't got this right now. Hopefully somebody's got it. Now we're kind of like the government's, I feel like they've kind of given up and left us to our own devices. So we'll do what we can for now. Hopefully 2022 will be better, and hopefully evolution will help us out, and science, and some vaccinations, and people using just common sense and just using their heads, and a little bit of kindness, I think, like he said, would go a long way. You get a lot more bees with honey than you do with vinegar and anger and things like that. So that's one way you can be a winner.
Congratulations to our award winners. Your award winners for 2021. 2 award winners, the Golden Throat Punch Award. Thanks for all your efforts. You passed the test. You made the grade.
You really earned that fucking throat punch. You know what I earned? I won a lot of things this year. 2021 was a year of me winning different things. Big winner. I won some amazing postcards and Christmas cards.
3 things I can think of you won in 2021.
From Mandy Lee.
Yep.
Yes, I won a bunch of Twin Peaks cards, twice, 2 Twin Peaks concerts, or contests rather, from Wholesome Peaks, and then Twin Peaks Dream. And then I won a giant case of hot sauce that's coming very soon.
It's on the way.
It's on the way. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to be about. So I'm going to put that on the show. When we get it, I'm going to unbox it and maybe dip some meatless meatballs in it and blow my brains out. I fucking don't know what's going to happen.
That hot sauce may just kind of... I hope you do the cartoon thing where the smoke comes out of the air.
Oh, fuck. It might be a Hot Things live. It won't be a Hot Wings. It'll be a Hot Things, because I don't know what I'm dipping it. I don't have wings. I have
You can use potato chips or something.
Something is going to have a little
Pretzels.
dip.
Pretzels
it's going to have a little
thirsty.
dip. Speaking of a little dip, we had to have a conversation this morning with the children about Speedo bathing suits. Because I mentioned the word Speedo, and our eldest asked me...
I'm just thinking little dip now. You're talking about the Speedo.
Just going for a little dip in the pool. I mentioned the words. This is one of the best, definitely the best and worst moment. Oh my God, so embarrassing as a parent to have to tell your child about something that is kind of embarrassing to you. And European man's bathing suits are just, let's just face it, they leave absolutely nothing to the imagination. It's straight up peen in your face. It's just like a dick and balls.
I think you use the term penis pinwheel.
Yeah, it's imagine attaching a pinwheel to the end of your penis and everyone just watching it spin with its sparkle and color. That's how much attention a Speedo attracts to your fucking crotch. So I said someone was wearing a Speedo or something just in passing. And of course our eldest is like, what's a Speedo?
What's a Speedo?
Whoop. Like, well, a Speedo is this tiny little bathing suit that, men wear.
Banana phone.
And then he goes, banana phone. I'm like, pretty much. And I'm like thinking to myself, banana hammock. And it brought me to a funny story. I said one time when we were young kids, it was my first kind of co-ed time to go swimming with some boys and girls. I was developing. I was around 13 or 14. I got my first two-piece bathing suit out of the house, and my parents were already divorced by this point. My sister was spending the weekend with my dad or whatever, and I'd gone swimming with my girlfriends and boyfriends and potential boyfriends, hopefully. And I get to the aquatic center, we're swimming, having a good time, splashing around. Who shows up? My dad. In a Speedo.
Banana phone.
I wanted to fucking die. I wanted to fucking die right then and there. And then one of my friends says to me, Tanya, instead of your dad calling himself Mr. Candler, he should really change his name to Mr. Shrinkage. And now I know what that means. But at the time,
Banana phone.
I did not know what that meant, right? And I know that the pools are cold at the aquatic center, so now I know what that means. But he shows up strutting like in a Speedo with my little sister, and I've got all my friends, like, all my sister's like younger than I am, much younger. She's like 10. And it's like super embarrassing for me. It's like my first time like out with my like buds, and it's co-ed and...
Now, to bring it back to something you said earlier about your latex allergy.
Yeah.
Did it prompt your dad to wear the banana hammock because he doesn't like going swimming with additional clothing on? Because the idea of a banana hammock just feels like a chafing situation to me. And I'd rather actually have, proper like
shorts.
Trunks.
Like swimming trunks. Like they have the net in them and they catch all the balls. Like they
catch all the balls. Really? What do you think happens down there? There's just lots of catching going on?
I think there's a lot of cradling going on. I think he wants to make sure that everything's fine down there. All the junk stays in its bags.
The junk? You make it sound so disposable and like it's just hanging on waiting for like garbage day the next week. I didn't say it was the junk
yard. I just say like your junk, like your genitalia. What do you want me to call it?
I love that you did this motion, the
junk,
the encompassing pineapple motion.
Balls, like
mango.
Like terrible. This is terrible. This
Fruit
is
salad. Yummy.
Terrible. No more wiggle stories. But seriously, this year has been fucking something. We finally got to talk about movies that we'd seen this year because we kind of missed a lot of movies that came out in 2021. But we did get around to watching more movies.
Again, I have a list. I'm curious what's on yours. It's got lots on mine.
I will tell you, like I said that I would talk about Don't Look Up. We will talk about that soon, but that means I don't want to discredit other films. So I will talk about the few that I really liked. I liked Pig.
Big fan of Pig.
Nick Cage movies this year were kick-ass.
I'm a huge fan of Nick Cage these days because he is seeking out original stories instead of doing the Hollywood superhero mega machine thing that for him is just boring and predictable and so adverse to anything that might be risky. He is still making the $5 to $10 million films to be part of something that's unique. In Pig, just check out on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got like over 90% rating. It's just a heartwarming tale of friendship and about the art world in general. In this case, the restaurant industry and the whole chef food culture. Following your heart, following your dreams. Yeah, it really hit me in the feels. Yeah, it hit me in the feels too. And plus, I was so worried about his pig. It was just like his best friend, and it was just the sweetest thing ever. And then another movie that Nick Cage was in that made my list was wacky old, weird old fucking Willy's Wonderland. Yeah, holy shit. Fun movie about a guy who has to repay a debt. That's a bit of a setup to survive a night in an old like Chuck E. Cheese kind of like animatronic nightmare that's haunted and possessed, and basically the townsfolk just keep sacrificing people to keep the demons at bay there for fear of having them leave the place and hunt them down. So the amusement park comes alive. But Nick Cage, man, he's got that, again, like both films, not many lines of dialogue, gruff, determined, don't quest. He does this thing. It's graphic, gory. It's fun though. It doesn't have to take itself too seriously, and it's just good. Yep. I liked the Get Back film. Yeah, Get Back is great. I know. I think you and I have talked about it already. But once. I can't say enough good things about it. Really can't. It's just so good. It's so complete. Like it's just from the beginning to the end. It's a fantastic series, and I know it's a doc series, but I really look at it as a film because there's so much archival footage. I think it's hard to watch it all as one film, but
it's so great to see that process and seeing a band putting those things together. That for me is really magical, especially one of my favorite bands like the Beatles. That's magical for me. Yeah. And now you really have taken a shine to the Beatles.
Yeah, it's weird that one of the bands that I discovered in 2021 that I didn't know much about other than the popular stuff you hear in the movies or on the radio is the Beatles. And so I can say I'm a fan of the Beatles now because I got to know who they are through the movie. And that's kind of the case with documentaries and a lot of TV shows, right? When you can see who the people are and follow the story, it's hard not to form that attachment to them and what they're doing and become invested in the art after. So hook, line, and sinker for me.
Oh, you were hooked. It's done.
Yeah, it's good. And, one other doc that we've avoided watching in 2021, but we will watch in 2022 is the Anthony Bourdain doc. Because it's going to be a tough one, but
it's going to be a hard watch. Because we watch lots of docs. We love
Bourdain as a rule to begin with, but I know I'm going to get that much more invested in who this guy
Chef Bourdain was one of our favorites. So. Across the board, Chef Bourdain was one of my favorites always. And I just think there's a lot going on there. I think they're going to really focus on his life and not so much all the shit that happened afterwards with Asia Argento and all that kind of crap. What movies I
have two other docs.
What other docs did you like?
Operation Varsity Blues.
Yes.
Which about the scandal to get into Harvard. Yeah. That was an early one. That was in March. And then Misha and the Wolves.
Which was probably the craziest documentary ever. Now, if you haven't seen this...
It's on a lot of people's lists.
It is on a lot of people's lists. So I'm assuming a lot of people have seen this. This woman had this wild story about being essentially raised by wolves, escaping a horrible situation.
Nazi Germany.
The Holocaust.
Living in the forest amongst the wolves and then being discovered years later.
After she'd been raised essentially by wolves.
And there was a book deal in place and it was about be turned into a series and going to be featured on Oprah's book club. And then the twist happens.
There's a twist.
And you're like, oh my God, this story's so riveting. And you're
just
into
hooked.
It. And then 25 minutes in the classic break into Act 2, here's the twist. And it's wow, okay, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that one coming, but again, a must-watch. Misha and the Wolves. It's on Netflix right now. You can check that out. Again, on Netflix. I love film-wise. It's not a documentary. Maybe it is a documentary. Don't Look Up. Obviously, I did, and I looked up to. And my bangs, obviously, looked up to because...
The J-Lo cut.
No, it's not J-Lo, it's J-Law.
J-Law.
Jennifer Lawrence.
I'm not hip, folks.
I'm not hip either, obviously.
Wait, you look great.
Now. I was like, I can't do anything with these J-Law bangs. I had a virtual appointment with my doctor, and she's just like, oh, you look like J-Law. I'm like, yeah, maybe if she took acid and cut her bangs. But I got my sweater game going on.
You look great.
I got my bang game going on. But I really, really enjoyed Don't Look Up for a variety of reasons. Let's go. You first. What did you like about that film?
How obviously real it is and how it's grounded in so much reality, but dosed in satire. And, you can like satire in different forms, like RoboCop and Total Recall are clear satires with a driven narrative, and you almost have to read between the lines a little bit, even though it's so overtly in your face. Or something like Starship Troopers, right?
Certainly, yeah.
This has that same sense of extreme situation, like a Starship Troopers.
Yeah, something so catastrophic.
But instead of blood and guts and violence over the top like you would see in one of those films, this is just screaming at people, and the more intense about the situation, the less responsive they seem to become, even though it affects their lives too.
More glued to social media or other societal
It's all about surface appearances and getting along and downplaying things.
And the thing
go with the flow, or you're going to be penalized.
The thing that's fucked up the most is this film was written before COVID. It was written pre-election, before all this shit went down.
But that's the beauty of the film, right? Because you can look at it as an allegory or a metaphor for what's going on with COVID and what's going on right now, and how the establishment may or may not be taking it seriously and may or may not be listening to the scientists of the world or any kind of researcher.
Dude, all I'm going to say is
the thing is, and for those that don't know, don't look up, is about the discovery of a cataclysmic extinction level event of a comet about to hit Earth in 6 months.
Yes. Spoiler alert!
Two astronomers are basically trying to get the word out, and they join a third one, and like nobody is listening because it's bad news, and we don't want to talk about bad news.
We don't want to talk about bad
news.
news.
We just want good news and laughs, and
we don't want to make anyone uncomfortable.
We'll sit back and assess and make sure it's okay. But the comet can stand in for COVID. It can stand in for any kind of
war.
Outside
it can stand in
thing
for racism. It can stand in for homophobia.
Anything that's uncomfortable.
Exactly. We don't want to talk about that thing that's really hurting people. So we're just gonna sweep that under the rug.
Like you talk about the computer age, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age. It's like this is almost like the age of ignorance, where people just want to tune out the other possibility.
But all I want to say is, and spoiler alert, you want to know what happens when you don't listen to the semi-cute scientist? Your whole fucking world blows up. So maybe, just maybe, this is a bit of a virtue signal to maybe get your science ears on and like get your fucking shit together. So maybe this world won't explode. Maybe it fucking will. Who knows what will happen to this world? Maybe we'll all explode. I don't know. But I found that movie to be particularly dark and comedic just because obviously the parallelism between what's going on in our society and how blind we really are.
It's been going on for a long time.
For a long time.
Before the film was written.
Yeah.
It'll be evergreen for stuff that happens after.
It'll be going on after.
The film is forgotten.
People will forget things in a week. We have things happen in the city. We have a tragedy. We have a mass terrorism and a killing of an entire family. Within a few weeks, that's gone by the wayside too because there's something else in the headlines. And it's always the one thing kind of pushing the next thing forward, which kind of sucks. But I want to encourage you to always kind of look up. Don't be looking down, staring at the ground. What the hell are you going to see then? Think laterally, look up, look all around you.
More importantly, if people are telling you not to look at something, then that's when you should probably look at it and make up your own mind.
Yes. Like, absolutely. I think you should make an informed decision. And make an informed decision with the people that know how to help you make an informed decision.
Fact-checked.
Really fact-checked. Really fact-checked. We had some good kids movies come out this year.
Lots. And of course, because we got two kids, we're kind of up on all the family entertainment. Especially the Disney Pixar side of things.
I was like, we watched so much Disney Plus. Oh my God, it's like Disney triple plus. It's the A plus plus plus. Like Luca came out this year, which was a fantastic film about a fish boy set in Italy. It was fantastic.
Also got Raya and the Last Dragon.
And that was like a boss bitch movie. Another Disney princess who was just kick-ass. She wasn't afraid of anything. She was brave. It portrayed a really strong female identified character. Again, it was not another white girl princess. It was someone a little bit more kick-ass. Someone with more of a culture, someone with more of a background. And they examined a lot of different cultures in that film, and it was fantastic. The music was fantastic. And quite recently, they released Encanto. And I have to say it in that accent because the kids love the soundtrack to Encanto. And if I ask Alexa to play Disney's Encanto, she just starts playing some random music.
Yeah, some weird
random. But if I go, Alexa, play Encanto, and I bet she's going to do it from the upstairs right now. I'm just waiting. And she plays it. Good. It just goes crazy. She only understands my accent. So there's definitely some accent bias going on with Alexa, I think. It's weird.
Of those three films, Luca, Encanto, and Raya, we didn't even talk about Ron's Gone Wrong.
Ron's Gone Wrong was a great film that's come out.
Okay, maybe all four. Which one do you like the best?
Of all of them? Oh, God. I think it was Raya that did it for me. I really liked Raya the best because I just seeing such a strong character and a female lead, but seeing that unity of all that division and all those different communities that were so divided and seeing them finally come together.
Talon and Tail.
I didn't realize that there were parts of a dragon. I thought it was a place called Tail. It was tail.
You mean tail?
Yeah. Yeah, let's say I picked up a lot of tail in that movie. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I like Luca the best.
You like Luca the best?
I like it because it was small.
Celestio Bruno.
Silencio
Bruno. Celestio.
I like it because it's a small story. It doesn't have to be this big world traversing, epic journey, which are great, but it's just about two people who become friends, Luca and Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. Different Bruno. But they come together and they're friends, and they try to they have like that one magical summer that we all had as a kid that we never forget. One friend. Yep.
And for them, it's as sea monsters coming to visit, the shore of this Italian seaport.
Because they're like
and they
fish
befriend
people.
another girl. They befriend a girl who's a bit of an outsider herself, and because they all have this common status as outliers, they're able to come together and win this kind of local event, and
it's like a big deal competition that they have yearly.
I love the soundtrack. The score for Luca is just
it's fantastic.
It just reminds me of summertime, and it just fills me with warm sea breezes and sunshine and exploring fields and forests. I love it.
Yeah, me too. It reminds me of just monkeying around down at the beach and collecting stones and looking for beach glass and just kind of letting the water lap over your feet. It was a really delightful film. I loved it. And I mean, a lot of good shows came out this year. This year was the year of fucking Discovery Plus for this girl.
Yeah.
And also for you. Holy smokes.
Yeah, Discovery Plus and Shudder, for that matter, were two streaming services that we picked up. I was a really big fan of the Creepshow series, which we were able to get through all 3 seasons,
which was excellent
on Shudder, which was fun. On top of other things that we discovered on Shudder and classics that we revisited. But Discovery Plus, of course, we checked out the Ken and Barbie Killers.
Yeah, we did check out the Ken and Barbie Killers. It was the lost tapes of, you might know him better as the Scarborough Rapist, but it was Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka, one of the most famous and gruesome homicide crimes, multiple murders, serial killers in Canada, probably to date. And you didn't recap. Yeah. You didn't know too much about the cases. You kind of knew.
I knew surface level details.
Well, you didn't know who the Scarborough Rapist was.
No, I did, but
you didn't realize it was Paul Bernardo.
No, I did.
Oh,
no, that I didn't realize there was the whole Ken and Barbie moniker put on them.
Yeah, because they were so the perfect couple, and everybody saw them as kind of great on the surface, but they were these absolute fucking monsters. And I will maintain to this day that she was fucking worse than him.
Well, it's crazy how they found her in Quebec under her alias, and they storm the community and let them know who she is and that she's on the PTA committee at her kids' school. She volunteers at a children's school. She's got 3 kids. It's oh my God.
But she's got 3 kids with her lawyer, someone from her ex-lawyer's
legal team,
the defense team. That's kind of fucked up. He knew that she did this and
still went along
tortured all
with
this children. She killed her.
Talk about somebody you don't give an axe to for Christmas.
Well, also, talk about someone you don't have children with. This woman offered her 15-year-old sister up to her boyfriend to be drugged, ultimately sexually assaulted. And I mean, sorry, I'm going to give you a trigger warning now for the Carla Homolka and Paul Bernardo murders. I've got to give you a trigger warning. It does obviously get worse with the drugging and the ultimate sexual assault and the aspiration of vomit and death of her sister Tammy at 15 years old, which they just thought was kind of like a family tragedy that happened on Christmas Eve. But really when she'd been drugged with a veterinary strength medication and aspirated, choked on her own vomit, and just passed on. And then that subsequently led to the slayings and the very brutal murders and tortures and rapes of Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey.
Yeah.
In the St. Catharines sort of Welland area. And I mean, even before that, Paul Bernardo was going around and raping girls. He was known as the Scarborough Rapist. Women were really terrified prior to him even being with Carla Homolka.
Check it out on Discovery Plus.
Yeah, you got to check out this.
Because even if you're familiar with the case, the way that they talk to people that were involved, who obviously couldn't talk about it then, can talk about it now, is really, really fascinating. Discovery Plus, despite the survival shows, despite the other paranormal shows that we discovered, really comes about one series for you and I this year in 2021 firmly. So much so that you skipped ahead to the final episodes that have been released
because I heard
so far.
It was Alaskan bush people. Alaskan bush people did this. I mean, and again, it is a testament to me and how much I love survival and being in the bush.
And how much you love bush.
It's not how much I love bush, Gavin Rossdale. It's how much I love being in the bush. I love being outdoors. I love being barefoot. I love the outdoors, everything about it. I love being dirty. I love getting crazy. I love swinging an axe.
Getting dirty in the bush.
Getting dirty in the bush, getting real dirty in the bush. We're not going to talk about that time there, Rock of Gibraltar.
Tanya's first date with me was in the winter, and she took me to the bush.
I thought it was going to be like a sexy date. So we started getting sexy.
Okay. What do you like about the show?
Anyways.
Alaskan bush people.
I love everything about it. I love that they're just naturalists and that they're survivalists and they use whatever they have around
let's
them.
Let's be real though.
They waste nothing. And I loved so much. I loved the family dynamic.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I loved the
They're
dad.
a good family.
And I loved the dad. And Billy Brown was the patriarch of the Brown family. Billy and Amy, his wife. And they subsequently had 7 children with them. And I've talked about this a little bit on the show before.
Yeah.
But they moved to this like remote place in Alaska. And through 13 seasons, they moved their way through all kinds of places and all kinds of trials and tribulations in Alaska. Finally, with this culmination of the last season, season 13, and I mean, that family's been through hell, and he'd been suffering seizures and declining health in recent years through the series, and finally he passed away in the winter of 2021. And that, celebrity deaths don't really hit me, like I say, really hard.
Yeah, but it's not about the celebrity. It's about, again...
It was about a father...
Like we talked about with the Beatles. You got to know who the people were.
Exactly.
And you got to sympathize with their mission and their way of life and how they wanted to do. And you wanted to, live vicariously through them and root for them for what they're doing. So you form an attachment.
Absolutely.
And when you see how important their dad is to them... Because every episode, the dad, Billy, is getting hurt or he's struggling with something. And he's, caught between a rock and a hard place. He's trying to do the right thing for the whole family.
He's trying to build the family's dream.
And you hear the 7 kids and his wife, I just wish that, we could do this for our dad. And, he's everything to me. He's my hero. He's my best friend. And then 13 seasons later.
He's gone. He's gone. And the kids are sitting there and they're saying,
I'm getting goosebumps talking about it.
It's hard. It's
tough.
Losing a parent is probably one of the toughest things in the world, and now they're all displaced. They don't know, what to do. They're carrying on with this homestead and this ranch in the name of their dad, but seeing that he passed away was really super hard, and listening to these children reflect on how much their dad really means to them really hit home for me, and that really hit me in the feels hard because, your parents and their own mortality. My dad is really sick right now. It's not good. It's a respiratory illness, and everybody is getting them around these days. A lot of my friends have gotten sick, not friends in London, friends outside of London, friends in a little bit bigger cities have been contracted, and the Rona, they've got it. It's scary. It sucks. It's kind of things are on the rise here. That's one thing I would like to see go away in 2022. I would like to see the back end, or this endemic of the coronavirus, the Omicron, the Megatron, the Decepticon, all the variants. I'd like to see that go away, and I'd like to see things go a little bit back to normal. I don't think we're ever going to really get there. I think we're going to be masks on airplanes, which I don't think is a bad idea because there are a lot of fucking gross ass mouth breathers on airplanes. I sat beside them.
The only other show, before we run out of time, the only other show that I really want to... There's 2 shows that I want to spotlight.
What did you like?
Mandalorian Season 2.
Oh.
Which was really great storytelling.
It was excellent, and I didn't know what it was going to be like because Mandalorian Season 1 was so good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this Season 2 going to be able to live up to it? Because, especially for Star Wars fans, because Star Wars fans like their Star Wars a certain way. And they like it to be served a certain way. They like to be filmed a certain way. They like to be authentic. And I'm one of those people.
And the other show that, again, when you're a fan of it and it works well, you're hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And just like that.
Oh my gosh. Because I was a huge fan of Sex and the City growing up. And believe it or not, as were you.
Why would you say, and believe it or not?
Because generally, and I'm not trying to generalize men, a lot of men that I know
That's sexist.
It is sexist, but I'm saying generally a lot of men that I know, and I'm not trying to generalize, but unfortunately a lot of men that I know did not really dig Sex in the City for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe they never just like watched it. It's brilliant writing. It's great characters. The casting is amazing. Pardon?
They're such Mirandas.
They are such Mirandas. But and just like that, which is great because
which is the follow-up to Sex in the City 15 years later.
It's great to see the girls, like the ladies from Sex and the gentlemen from Sex in the City as well, and see that there's no signs of ageism. There's no signs of sexism. There's no signs of, homophobia, racism. Everything is like relevant to how things kind of are now. And in just like that, in just about one episode, that fucking show destroyed my ass.
It's great though, because it's still relevant. And what made Sex and the City great was the writing, the character dynamics, the way it was shot and put together. And it was saying something important every episode. And I so far from what we've seen from, and just like that, it's still making relevant commentary on what's going on with these characters 15 years later. Not like they're just catching up to the present. You can tell they've got some wounds in the last 15 years that we may not have seen, but it's still relevant and it's good. It's good TV.
It is really good it's excellent television. And it reminds me, like, don't buy a Peloton bike anytime soon.
Yeah.
Fuck, spoiler alert. But I mean, do you have any New Year's resolutions for this year? I don't really keep resolutions because I think when you break them, it makes you feel guilty and you feel shitty about yourself.
I just want to have the resolve to make 2022 better than 2021 in every possible way.
Yeah, me too. I want to make it a better year.
It's broad, it's general. There's things cooking for both of us that are really exciting. And
that are really actually, like, 2022 is probably going to be the biggest year for us both professionally.
It's almost impossible to not have that come to fruition, which is really exciting. So if we check the career box, then there's the personal box, and then there's the family box.
Exactly.
How do we make the family stuff better, and how do we do enough self-care to make ourselves better? I'm trying to go plant-based. That could be a big box to check.
Yep.
You're trying to, keep continuing on that path as well, and you want to do music as well.
Education and stuff. I'm doing some continuing education with my voiceover stuff. And I'm working on stuff with your series also, so that's like a big job. It's like, so career-wise this year, and obviously many other things happening too. I can't let you know right now, because that wouldn't be cool of me.
I know.
I know you know, but screw you.
Oh, I know.
You and nobody else. So what to expect from the next year? I expect fucking awesome, but expect fast-paced. Things are coming down the pipe faster than I can even handle them. And it's exciting and it's scary all at the same time. It's not the best and the worst. It's definitely the best. The best is yet to come in 2022.
I can't wait to see if 2022's Golden Throat Punch Award tops 2021.
I don't know, but I'm telling you, I am actually, with the music that I'm making, I'm thinking of, you know what, if it's safe, I'm thinking of hitting the road. And why not maybe play a little bit of music for some people. Maybe be around people again, and maybe have some live shows. I don't know. It might just be a crazy thought in my head. But I've been making so much music. Why not get out there and share it? I mean, if it's safe. It's just a thought that I have in my head. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I know that you know this.
I can't say anything.
I know. But I love making music, and I have been making music, and I've been down in the beat laboratory, of course alone, and just working away on the music and working away on the ideas. And I think that 2022 is going to be a really super year. I'm really excited for it. We've got a ton of fun guests coming up on the podcast. I've been on a couple podcasts this year that are coming out very soon. Actually, this week, actually. There are a few podcasts that I've been on, and you'll be able to check those out. I'll put those in my stories. You always know where to get me. I'm at 21st Century Rocker Mom at Instagram. That's also my handle on TikTok. You can find me there too at The Real Tanya Candler. If you can't find me at 21st Century Rocker Mom, I'm always on there, ticking and talking. You can find me on Twitter at Tanya Candler, just my name. And That's kind of where I am. Where can they find you?
At Rob McZob on Twitter, at Rob McCallum Films on Instagram. Easiest way. Reach out, say hi.
I mean, the easiest way to find me too is also subscribe to this YouTube channel. You'll get a little ding dong on your phone. You get a little red bell notification if you subscribe and hit that you want to be notified every time this comes on. Or if you find me on your favorite streaming platform, wherever you get your podcasts, find me there at 21st Century Rocker Mom. I hope you had a wonderful New Year. Happy New Year to you. And I will see you next week, beautiful people. And I hope it's a wonderful week. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.
I thought you were going to say beautiful sheeple for a second.
The beautiful sheeple. The beautiful sheeple. It's all relative to the size of your fucking tinfoil steeple. And that's the actual end of this program. Ha 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 ha.